Chosen one, I need you to hear me before you take another breath. Not because this message is urgent in the way emergencies are urgent, because this message is urgent in the way truth becomes urgent, when it has been waiting too long to be spoken. And what I am about to say to you has been waiting longer than this video, longer than this channel, longer perhaps than you have been paying attention to this kind of thing at all. Something happened recently in the invisible world that directly concerns you, not as a metaphor, not as poetic language designed to make you feel significant for a few minutes before you scroll to something else. As a literal description of what occurs in the unseen realm when someone like you moves through the world without understanding what they are carrying. An archangel stopped, not paused, stopped, mid-assignment, mid-movement, through dimensions of reality that your physical eyes will never access in this life. And the reason he stopped was you, not something you did intentionally, not a prayer you crafted with precision, or a spiritual discipline you maintained without failure, something that radiates from the core of who you are without your permission, without your awareness, and without your ability to turn it off even in the seasons when you desperately wished you could. He stopped. He looked, and then, according to what Scripture actually says about these encounters, he reported it. Stay with me, because what I am about to show you is going to permanently change how you understand every strange encounter you have ever had, every room that went quiet when you entered, every conversation that turned into something neither person planned, and every moment in your life when something shifted around you in a way you felt but could not name. If you are new here, subscribe right now and turn on every notification. What I build in this space does not land in a single video, it accumulates. And what accumulates is the kind of understanding that changes how you move through every room for the rest of your life. If you are already here, drop the word "seen" in the comments right now, because that is exactly what you are seen, by more than you know. Like this video, if you are ready to understand why. Let me start with the wound before I get to the revelation, because you cannot fully receive what I am about to show you if you are still carrying what most chosen ones carry without naming it. You have spent a significant portion of your life making yourself smaller than you actually are, not out of laziness, not out of weakness, out of something that felt, from the inside, like it was protecting the people around you. You discovered somewhere in your formation, probably early, probably in a moment that did not feel dramatic at the time, that when you showed up completely, without editing, without the careful management of how much of you was allowed into a space at once, something happened around you that other people struggled to process. The air changed, conversations tilted. People said things they had not planned to say, and later could not fully explain why they said them. Some people were drawn in without understanding why. Others pulled back without being able to articulate what they were retreating from. And you, being the kind of person you are, concluded that the safest thing was to turn the volume down, to present a reduced version of yourself, a calibrated version, one that fit inside the comfort zones of the people in your immediate world. You called it wisdom. Sometimes it was, but sometimes it was something else entirely. Sometimes it was the quiet surrender of something you were never meant to surrender. Because what makes people shift in your presence is not a flaw to be corrected. It is a frequency to be understood. There is a text in the book of Daniel that most people read and immediately move past without stopping to register the full weight of what is being described. In chapter 10, Daniel has been in a period of prayer and mourning for 21 days. He is not performing anything spectacular. He is simply persisting, holding on, continuing to reach towards something he cannot see clearly in a season that is giving him every reason to stop reaching. And then the angel appears and says something that should arrest every reader completely. He says, From the first day that you set your heart to understand, your words were heard. The first day, not after Daniel had demonstrated sufficient discipline, not after he had completed the full 3 weeks, not after he had earned the response through consistency. From the first day that his heart turned in a particular direction, heaven responded. The 21 days of waiting were not the time it took for God to notice. They were the time it took for the messenger to break through what was resisting the transmission. The response was immediate. The arrival was delayed. And the difference between those two things is everything for a chosen one who has been waiting in silence and interpreting that silence as absence. Your reaching has been heard from the first moment. It was genuine. Now I want to tell you something about what you carry that most people in your life have never had the framework to explain to you. Think about what happens to a room when someone carries a lit torch into it. The torch does not announce itself. It does not require the people in the room to believe in fire before the fire begins to work. The heat arrives before the flame is visible. The quality of the darkness changes before anyone has turned to look at the source. Something in the atmosphere shifts in the presence of genuine fire that cannot be replicated by anything that merely generates warmth without actually burning. You carry something like that, not because you are perfect, not because your record is clean, or your faith has been uninterrupted, or your choices have been without compromise. Because there is something genuinely burning at the center of who you are that was placed there before you had the opportunity to earn it or disqualify yourself from it. And genuine fire, the kind that was lit by a source beyond this world, affects every room it enters in ways that cannot be manufactured by effort, charisma, or spiritual performance. You have spent years making yourself smaller to protect others from what you carry. But that thing that makes rooms shift and conversations turn unexpected is not a flaw. It is a frequency placed in you before you were born. There is a difference between performance and presence. Performance exhausts you because it is constructed. Presence simply requires you to be honest about what you actually are. The invisible world is not passive. Archangels stop mid-assignment when they encounter a soul that chooses faith in the dark, trusts without confirmation, and persists without visible proof. That soul is you. Your frequency has been transmitting through every silent, hidden, unglamorous season, and heaven has been watching the entire time. Like Joseph in the pit, your hidden season was never the delay of your purpose. It was the formation of it. What is coming is not the beginning of your impact. It is the amplification of what has always been true about you. Stop shrinking. Stop apologizing for what you carry. The opposition you have faced is proportional to the assignment ahead, not to your failures. The room has always been responding. The frequency has never stopped transmitting. And what is coming next is simply the moment the hidden thing steps fully into the light.